Hi, and welcome back to another motivational moment with me, your coach, Michelle. So, you guys, I'm excited about today's topic because today we're going to be talking about how to get the relationship that you want. Now, every relationship has room for improvement. And when I say every, I mean every relationship that you can possibly think about has room for improvement. There are no perfect relationships. And if anybody ever tells you that there are, you tell them that I said that is not true because there just aren't. They may look like they're perfect on the surface, the stuff we see on social media, but no relationship is perfect, okay? So your love life shouldn't leave you exhausted. It shouldn't leave you strained or questioning yourself or the person that you're with. So, if you're currently in a relationship or you're looking for a relationship, here's how you can make the happiest relationship that you've ever had. Number one, I said you must change your mindset. Can I just tell you guys really quickly that no matter what you do in life, your mindset has to be right? Because without the right mindset, whatever you're trying to do will just be a bunch of crap. And that's a nice way of putting it because y'all know what I really wanted to say. So you have to get your mindset right. So the only person in this world that you can control is you. The only person that I can control is me. And once you realize that, you'll begin to see the importance of changing the way that you think instead of hoping the other person will change. I think too often we spend too much time trying to change other people to become what we want them to become. And that's just not how life works. If that person chooses to, notice I said chooses to change, they will. But if they have no desire to change, then they won't. And there's nothing that you can say or do that's going to force them. Yeah, you can say, well, if you don't change, I'm leaving. And guess what? They're going to say, bye. Can I help you pack? What you waiting for? Why are you still here? So don't ever throw that over anybody's face if they don't change, you want to leave. If that's how you feel, just leave. It's a whole nother subject for a whole nother time. You need to know that you deserve nothing but the best and not to settle for just anything or anyone that comes your way. It saddens me to no end when I see people that settle. And specifically, I'm talking about in relationships because they just want to be able to say, oh, this is my man or this is my woman. And you know full well that that person makes you want to just snatch your wig and step on your own feet because they get on your nerves. It's stuff, they're things. Sometimes it may be one thing, but sometimes it may be many things about them that just get on your last good nerve. And they are the kind of people that you would normally not be with, but because you don't want to be by yourself, you say, okay, well, you know what, this person just came along and I don't want to be by myself, so I'll just go ahead and take what I can get. Wrong. You deserve better. Y'all need to stop settling. Number two, honesty really is the best policy. So one of the best lessons in life that you will ever learn, and I mean ever learn, is that being honest with your significant other is necessary if your relationship is going to work. So if you find that you can't be honest with your other half, then you're in the wrong relationship. There's no two ways about it. You are in the wrong relationship. So you should be able to be honest with your other half and say, look, this thing right here, this isn't working for me. And of course they're going to say, well, what are you talking about? And you're going to say, well, if we're going to continue in this relationship, I need you to step up and do your part. I need you to stop doing this. I need you to start doing that. Whatever it is, you should be able to be honest with that person. Now, let me say this, because being honest does not mean being nasty. That person has their flaws, and so do you, but that doesn't mean that you can be nasty and rude as you try to talk to them. Find a time where you don't have anything else going on and you sit down and you talk and you tell them what's going on. And you can start off by saying, honey, I love you or I care about you. But if this relationship is going to work, we need to start doing more of this, less of that. Or if it's something that they're doing, then, you need to address whatever that thing is. But also keep in mind that they may have some things that they want to get off their chest about you. See, when I always believe that when a relationship doesn't work out, it's not just what they did, It's not just what you did, it's what the two of you did, because y'all are doing this constantly. You're bumping heads. And so what you need to do is come together like this, and not always doing this. So never think that that relationship is not working because of what they're doing, because you play your part too. Okay? Especially, let me say this and I'm going to move on, especially if you've put up with whatever it is that they've been doing for a very long time, and now all of a sudden you reach the boiling point. You've got steam just gushing out the top of your head, and you said, look, I done taken all I can. I can't do it no more. And now it's going to come out in an ugly way. So I want to encourage you to, take those things, hit it head on. Don't let it just fester. Now, I used to be that person where I just wouldn't say anything, and it festers and it festers and it festers, and all of a sudden it's like a teapot. You know when the water's good and hot and it starts to whistle and you see the steam coming out the spout of it? That's how I would get. And then you'd get to see a whole nother side of Michelle that most people never get to see. But I've learned that all that does is eat away at me, because they don't know how I feel because I'm not saying anything. So again, if you're in a relationship and you can't be yourself, you need to find another one. Number 3, I said, no, I know what your deal breakers are. So what are the things that you are just not going to deal with no matter what? If you aren't a smoker and you don't want to be around a smoker, and you meet a fine man or a beautiful woman, don't make an exception just because of how they look. If that's not what you like, let it pass it on by. Let somebody else take that. If you care for someone that drinks excessively, don't make an exception just because of the way they look. They're fine or they're beautiful, so I just tolerate it. No. If that's not what you like, then don't deal with it. I personally am not a smoker, so I don't want to be with somebody that smokes. And you might be the nicest person in the world, the sweet as gold, just as caring and all of that other good stuff. Otherwise, you are a great person. But that smoking, that's going to be a problem. Or if you drink excessively, when I say drink excessively, I'm talking about you're drinking to the point where you have to get drunk on a regular and reoccurring basis. That's going to be a problem. I don't drink. Now, I don't knock other people that like to have a drink on occasions. Nothing wrong with that. But if you are a borderline alcoholic, that's going to be a huge problem. Don't stay with someone that's abusive towards you. And in parentheses, I have physically or mentally. See, because I've talked to people. I actually have known people personally. And they'll say, oh, well, child, he just says that. That's how we talk to one another. Is it really? And you okay with that? No, I don't think so. Because what you won't do is physically be abusive towards me, because I'm not the one for that. I am not the one. And in the famous words of my friend Charles, who's a member of my church, don't come for me unless I send for you. Meaning, don't come for me with that foolish talk coming out of your mouth unless I send for you. And chances are I'm not going to send for you with that foolishness. So you have to nip that in the bud. The first time they call you out your name, you give them that look. And if you wear glasses, you just look over top of your glasses. I'm sorry, who are you talking to like that? Were you talking to me? And you address it right then and there. Don't let them do oh, baby, I'm just playing. I love you. No, they don't. I'm sorry, they may love you, but they weren't just playing. They're testing you. They're testing you to see how far they can go. Because they're going to slip up and call you the B word again. And then come back with it, I just be playing. Be playing. Yeah, because that's how some people talk. Let's keep it real. And then from that, they'll graduate to using other words. And usually, I'm not saying all the time, but usually that verbal abuse will spill over into mental. I'm sorry, the mental abuse will spill over into that physical abuse. So why let it get to that point? Now, some people skip the mental and they go straight to the physical. Then we really have a problem, because I'm prepared to go to jail. Don't put your hands on me. If I don't put my hands on you, keep yours to yourself. I don't care how mad you get. Do not put your hands on me. And again, that's a whole nother video for a whole nother time. But again, don't stay with somebody that is physically abusive towards you, mentally or physically or mentally, just because you don't want to be alone. One is still a whole number. I'd rather be by myself than to be with somebody that does that. Number 4, love being by yourself first. So being able to enjoy your alone time will help make sure you're picking the right person for the right reasons. This will make sure you don't pick Willie Earl, and I don't know who Willie Earl is, knowing full well that he isn't your type. Why do that? Because now you're wasting your time and you're wasting his too. But you're tired of being alone and he has a lot of money, so you take it. Love yourself first and be okay with you before you can invite anybody else to become a part of your life. I am not one to settle with anybody ever just because they have money. And that's great you have money, but if you're not my type and you have a lot of foolishness with you, I'm not going to settle for what? I serve a God that blesses me abundantly to the point where I don't have to just settle. But also, I'm okay with just being with Michelle. See, because I love Michelle. Flaws and all, I love me. So I don't have to have a man in my life. And I need you to get to that place as well. Now, if you have one in your, or a man or woman in your life, that's great. But I need you to get to a place where you can be happy just being with you. Number 5, watch how your other half deals with your feelings. This is important, you guys. I need you to catch this. If your other half responds to your hurt feelings or anger with genuine support, understanding, and they care more about your feelings than about being right, then you forgive them and you make that thing work. Now, if they act like they don't care, then you need to believe them and keep it moving. Because people will show you how they truly feel. So you going through something, or you all have an argument, and that person says something ugly to you, or you say something ugly to them, and they don't care that they've hurt your feelings, or you don't care if I'm sorry, you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Your feelings are hurt, and they just don't care. Believe them, and that's not the relationship that you need to be in. Just like if they express to you that you've hurt their feelings, if you react by saying "and," then they need to believe you and move on as well. Number 6, find out what your potential mate's love language is. And this is very important. So being able to love is just as important as being lovable. I want to encourage you all to find out your love language, and I'll put this in the description box. You can go to www.5, and that's the number 5, lovelanguages.com. And this quiz was designed by Dr. Gary Chapman. So the 5 love languages are quality time, and these are people who need quality time, crave alone time with their loved one, and they want to catch up with them by having time alone where they can just talk and bond. Physical touch. You need physical touch if you feel lonely and lost when you have not been physically near a loved one. The next one is gifts. Gifts are usually a big test in relationships for people who speak the love language of gifts. Acts of service. Acts of service are acts of love when someone performs an action for the other. This can be cleaning, cooking, driving, or even running an errand. The next one is words of affirmation. You need words of affirmation if you find yourself constantly needing to hear from your loved one to get reassurance from them. And I'm not knocking any of those, because somebody, there are 5 love languages, and we all fall in one or probably more of those categories. So I would encourage you to go and just do that test, and just to see, where you fall. Now I know for a fact I don't have to have words of affirmations to be insured by how you feel about me, because your actions will tell me that. I don't know, let me be honest with you, I don't know if any of these really fall in a category for me, but I'm pretty sure if I took the time to go through the actual test and to read up on the 5 love languages, I might, find out where I fit in. So let me do a quick recap, and I promise I'll let you be. So I talked about how to get the relationship that you want. Number 1, I said you must change your mindset. You have got to change your mindset. When you were single, i.e., not seeing anyone, you thought differently because it was just you. Well, when you get into a relationship, regardless of what type of relationship it is, your mindset has to change, because now it's not about just you. You have a significant other, whether you're married to that person or not, and you've got to think of their needs and their feelings when you say and do certain things. Number 2, I said honesty really is the best policy. And I stress, if you're in a relationship with someone and you cannot be honest with them about how you feel, what they're doing, any of that, then that's not the relationship that you need to be in. Because again, I've met people that were in relationships that were not encouraged to be honest about how they felt because the other person didn't care how they felt. It was all about them. And so the person that I knew said, well, I just won't say anything because I don't want to cause any problems. The devil is a lie. I'm going to tell you how I feel. And if you care enough about me, then you're going to do what you need to do to fix it. Or if not, we just need to go our separate ways. Number 3, you need to know what your deal breakers are. And everybody has them. Again, for me, it's the drinking, it's the smoking, it's the cheating, it's the lying constantly. All of that good stuff. That's a deal breaker for me. Because again, I feel like if you do it once, if given the opportunity, you'll probably do it again. Been down that road. Now, depending on the person that you are, and we talk about things, again, we talked about that whole being honest piece, and you tell me why you did what you did, maybe, just maybe, I can find it down in my heart, just a little bit, to forgive you. I'm not going to guarantee it. But you've got to know what your deal breakers are, because when you know what your deal breakers are, it'll keep you from just settling for anything. And 9 times out of 10, you're settling because you don't want to be alone, or that person is fine as wine, or she's beautiful as a bouquet of flowers, or they have money or something that's making you stay there. That's just like, let me say this and I'm going to move on. I do not get women, talk about the women right now, that stay with a man. Now you have, let's say, 2, 3 kids by this man. And you know that this man has 2, 3 kids by somebody else. And he had those kids in the midst of you all's relationship. And what do? We say, well, as long as he's taking care of me, as long as he's taking care of the house and my kids, oh, I'm not tripping. I'm not worrying. Well, you should worry. You should worry, because that means that at least on 2 or 3 occasions he laid down with somebody else. And not only did he lay down with that other woman, kids came out of that. And you're not bothered by that? First and foremost, when the first one came about, I would have been done. I would have been done. And I'm going to tell you why. Because every time I look at that child, and it's no fault of the child didn't have anything to do with that. But every time I look at that child, it's going to be a constant reminder of what you did. Now, some people are much stronger than me, and they can get over it and move on, and that's great. I clap for you. However, and because that is not my story. But the fact that you stayed with somebody that's had several kids while you all were in a relationship, mind you, that's a problem. That should be a deal breaker for you. But for some people, it's not. Let me move on. Number 4, I said, love being by yourself first. You should not go through life being so desperate that you just take anything that comes your way. That's truly a sign that you don't truly love you the way you are. Like I said, I love me, flaws and all. I'm not perfect. I'm a work in progress. But I love me. And so loving me means that I'm not going to just settle. And if I were to get out of the relationship that I'm in, I'm all right with still being by myself. You know why? Because I'm happy with Michelle. I love Michelle. Period. End of sentence. I don't have to be in a relationship. Is it nice? Of course it is. But I don't have to be. And then number 5, I said, watch how your other half deals with your feelings. Watch how they react if they hurt you and you bring it to their attention and they act like they don't care. You better believe them, because they really don't care. That's not an act. This isn't a stage play. They're showing you they don't care about you or your feelings. They don't care if you're crying. They don't care about any of that, and they mean it. So if I were you, I would get out of that kind of relationship. That goes back to the deal breaker. And the number 6, I said, find out what your potential mate's love language is. This is nice if the 2 of you sit down and do it together, but at least do yours so you'll know what your love language is, and then have that other person do it as well. Because I just think it would be, something great to do together, because then that might tell you whether you all are a good match to begin with. Because sometimes we go into relationships not being a good match, but we choose to overlook it because we think they'll change, they'll get better. Or, well, I can deal with that because, he's this or she's that. No. Know your love language. And I know some people say, well, I don't believe in all of that. Well, I'm not saying that I swear by it, but I just think it's a great tool to have. And again, the link will be in the description box. And so the 5 love languages were quality time, physical touch, gifts, acts of service, words of affirmation. So it's my hope and my I lost my train of thought just now. It is my hope that something I said has resonated with you and helping you to develop the relationship that you're looking for. Now, again, no relationship is perfect. If you are going into any relationship looking for a perfect person, honey, you are not going to find it. You are just wasting your time and theirs, because there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. There just isn't. We all are flawed. We were flawed from day one, and we will always be flawed. Now, you might sit back and say, not me, because I don't do anything. Well, yeah, you do. There's something about you that's not perfect. When you get in that relationship, that other person is going to see something in you that they probably don't really care for. And they might confront you about it. Just like you're going to see their shortcomings and their flaws. Just be open to receive the same thing. So that's all I have, you guys. Thank you so much to my newest subscribers. I love it when I get a notification that I have a new subscriber. Thank you so much to those of you that continue to support me and all that I say and all that I do. I love each and every one of you. You all know the drill. You know my spiel. I couldn't do what I do without you all. Therefore, I just love each and every one of you, from the bottom to the top and everything in between. And there's nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, that you can do to change that. Okay? Because I'm going to love you no matter what. Until next time, take care.